Hey guys, Justin here with our weekend pickups, and this was definitely a record-breaking weekend as far as the amount of garage sales go. I think Ryan and I got up on Friday and went to like 10 or 15 different sales, and then Ryan and Dave were both busy on Saturday morning, so I got up by myself and went to over 30 sales just in our town on Saturday. It was crazy, and actually we really didn't get all that much from the garage sales this weekend. We definitely didn't strike out by any means, but I just thought for 50 plus garage sales that we would have got a little bit more than we did. But the thrift stores were good to us this weekend, and we actually got one really good Craigslist deal that happened on Friday morning, really before any of this garage sale stuff even started. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that just because that's pretty much what happened first. Like I said, Ryan and I got up on Friday morning. It was like 7 a.m. and I was calling up the garage sale route on my computer. So I checked Craigslist real quick, and to my amazement, there was a big video game lot that had just got posted. It said NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Genesis. So I clicked on it, and there was a guy selling all the systems I just named, along with a handful of games for each system. There wasn't all that many games, but the ones that he had were definitely really good titles. And he was asking $125 for everything. But I knew he'd take less just because even in the listing he'd said that the price was negotiable for serious buyers. So I quickly emailed him, and I said, if you'll take $100 for everything, I'll come pick it up ASAP. And I left my number, and sure enough, 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from the guy. He said that $100 was fine, and he told me where he lived to go pick it up. So Ryan and I set out to go get that. And we did stop at one garage sale, actually, on the way there, just because it was right by my house. It was one of the sales that was starting earlier. And online, it said that they were going to be selling PS2 games. So we walk up there, and we're looking around. We found a big box of like DVDs and stuff, but there was no PS2 games to be found anywhere at this sale. And as a matter of fact, the only video game stuff we found were a couple of guides here. We got Pokemon Platinum version guide, which is the same one we picked up earlier in the year. And then we got a Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver guide. And then we got How to Draw Nintendo, Greatest Heroes and Villains. Anyway, both these Pokemon guides were 50 cents, and then this was another quarter. So as I'm paying for this, I asked the people, do you have any more video game stuff? And they were like, oh no, that's really all we had. So I was a bit confused as to why they would advertise PS2 games if they didn't have PS2 games. But I guess I really wasn't worried about it at that point. I just wanted to get to this Craigslist deal because even though it was 7:30 in the morning, I knew that if someone had checked Craigslist and saw that ad, that they'd probably offer the guy the $125 that he was asking for it. So we raced over there. Ended up being a really weird guy, and the deal was kind of sketchy. He had me go into his apartment and help him carry this stuff out, but I'm still alive, and I had Ryan there with me. So I'll show you guys what we got for $100. Here's the NES system here. It's actually in really good condition. It's got a couple scuffs on it, but it's not cracked or chipped or yellowed or anything. And I haven't tested it, so I don't know how good the pins are, but I'm sure I can get it to work. And that came with two first-party controllers. Had the first-party AC adapter. And then it didn't come with a coaxial. It actually came with these AV cords here, which I'm not really accustomed to using in the NES, but I know these will work in the NES. And then we got the Super Nintendo here, which just like the NES is in really nice shape. Not cracked or chipped or even yellowed actually, and it's still got the plastic piece in the AC port. And that came with two first-party controllers. And we got a first-party AV cord here. And then we have this, which is clearly an AC adapter. It's not a first-party AC adapter, though. It's one of those third-party ones that's supposed to be compatible with the Super Nintendo and the NES. However, the NES and the Super Nintendo have different specifications on their actual power adapters. And, this is just one adapter. It's not like there's a switch or anything on it to differentiate between the two systems. And this is the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it feels so cheap. This thing has no weight to it whatsoever, and it doesn't work right. As far as I know, it'll work okay in an NES to power it on and play games and stuff, but have fun if you want to play Super Nintendo with this because it's a nightmare. And Eccentrified Gamers, if you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. it like skews the picture so bad on the Super Nintendo. It has like green bars that run down the back of the screen just because the specifications on this aren't right for a Super Nintendo. And so I refuse to use these. I refuse to trade or sell systems with these power adapters. So you might ask, what do we do with these power adapters? Well, insert clip here. Alright, next on the chopping block is this. Now this was an extra AV cord that came with the Super Nintendo. It may look to be first party, but it's definitely not. There's no like name brand on this or anything, and this is one of those AV cords that you can get on eBay for like $1.79. Buy it now, free shipping from like Hong Kong or something like that. And honestly, I don't know if it works. I haven't tested it. Do I want to? Not really. So what do we do with these? Insert clip here. Alright, so moving on. We got the Genesis system here, a Model 1 Genesis. It's in really nice shape. I'm sure it'll work fine. And that came with both first-party adapters, so yay for first-party adapters. And then one first-party controller. And then this last system, I was really excited when I initially saw it because it is the Jungle Green N64. Now, unfortunately, this is not in very good condition, as you guys might be able to see. It does have the expansion pack in there, but it's missing the cover here. The reset button is stuck down, which you know, that's an easy fix. But even up here on this like grill thing, it's cracked up and stuff. So, as much as it pains me to say this, I think this is going to be a parts system only. I will get myself a good condition Jungle Green system eventually, though. And anyway, that had the power adapter here, and then it came with this, which is like a Radio Shack thing, compatible with Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation. I guess it's, you know, technically third party, but I think I'm going to hang on to this, at least for now. And then we got a Rumble Pack, and then we got some controllers. Here's just a regular gray controller. The joystick it's used, but it should still work alright. And then this, which I believe is the ice blue controller, I think. Unfortunately, though, this joystick is pretty heavily used. And it might still work, but it's got some like wires exposed up here and stuff. And then we got this black controller here. And interesting story about this. So, in the Craigslist ad, the guy had mentioned that he went on a vacation to Japan a couple months ago and had, at a thrift store, he found a N64 controller brand new, still sealed. And so he had bought that. And so after we loaded this all into my Jeep, I asked him about the Japanese controller, and he told me that it was this one. Okay, now Japanese and U.S. controllers are essentially the same exact thing. They're fully compatible with each other. They look exactly the same, so they're essentially the same controllers. But since he told me he had gotten it brand new, I asked him if he still had the box and stuff for it, and he was like, "Oh no, I just threw that stuff away." And I was really confused because it's one thing to buy a controller like here in the U.S. and throw the box away, right? But you go on a vacation to Japan and you find a sealed N64 controller at a thrift store, and you throw the box away. Like, the only thing that was Japanese about this controller, the box, he threw away. So I was really confused about that, but I guess it's cool to say that I have a controller that's from Japan. I don't know, even though it's the same exact thing as a regular N64 controller. And then we have this, which he claimed was the limited edition Jungle Green N64 controller, which it is definitely not. It is green, I will give him that, but it's one of these cheapo third-party Mad Catz controllers, and I've owned 3 of these same exact controllers in the last year, and none of them have worked. So, you can probably imagine what we're going to do to this controller. Insert clip here. Alright, so on to the final part of this Craigslist deal. The handful of games that we got here. Just one NES game, actually, and of course it's Mario Bros. Duck Hunt. And again, I was confused because I know in the Craigslist ad he said he had a gold cartridge Zelda, The Little Mermaid was in there, and so when I saw that this was the only one he had, I asked him about it, and he told me, he's like, yeah, I just made that list of games from memory while I was working, so I guess I don't have those other games. And I mean, I can understand if he had a game and forgot to put it in the listing, but I don't understand how he put a game in the listing that he never even had. I mean, obviously, it wasn't a huge deal, but I don't know. And then we got 3 Super Nintendo games here. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. We got a Super Star Wars, which is actually a million seller, so they sold at least 1 million copies of this game. And then finally, TMNT, Turtles in Time, and TMD 121. You know what, I don't even have to say anything. I'm just going to leave it at that. And someone apparently got this from Play and Trade for $4.99 at one point. I don't know if this was our local Play and Trade back when they were in business or what, but $4.99 is surprisingly cheap for this game. Maybe they mistook it for TMNT Tournament Fighters or something. And then I got this too. It's not really a game, but Super Game Boy, which actually had a copy of Pokemon Red in it, which was a sweet, sweet bonus for sure. And then just one Genesis game, and I bet you can all guess what it is. Sonic 2. And then the rest of these are N64 games, and these games are what really made the deal worth it for sure. We got Donkey Kong 64, Pokemon Snap, a Player's Choice Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Mario Tennis, which I don't think I've ever found this game in the wild before, a Player's Choice Banjo-Kazooie, Super Smash Bros., a Player's Choice Ocarina of Time, holographic Majora's Mask, and finally we got Mario Party 2. So, you know, just those N64 games alone were at least worth the $100 that I paid for everything. So that definitely made the deal worth it right there for sure. So I was very happy with those games. Anyway, though, onto the garage sale stuff. From that Craigslist deal, we drove over to our first garage sale. It was about 8:30. The sale was supposed to start at 9. We drive up to this house, and there is no sign of a garage sale anywhere. I mean, no signs, and it didn't even look like anyone was home at this house. So I grabbed my computer real quick to make sure we had the right date and time, and sure enough, it said, you know, Friday, 9 o'clock, and there was actually other people driving by as well that were clearly looking for the sale. So we kind of had like a big decision to make. We're like, okay, you know, do we wait here and hope the sale opens and hope they have a reasonably priced PS2 in games, or do we cut our losses and leave now because we could be missing stuff at other sales? So we hung around for a few minutes. Like 5 minutes later, a car comes racing into the driveway, and you know, another 5 minutes later, the garage door opened and a lady came out and put up a sign, and the garage sale was open. So we walked up there. We actually had to ask for the PS2 because they hadn't even brought it out yet, but the lady went into her house and got it. And I'll show you guys what she brought out. We got a black PS2 Slim here with some kind of memory card in it. That had both the adapters here. 2 first-party controllers. And then 3 games here, which are honestly nothing special. But we got Frogger's Adventures: The Rescue, ATV Off-Road Fury 2 Greatest Hits, and ATV Off-Road Fury 3. So I asked the lady how much she wanted for everything, and she said $35, which, you know, that's not an outrageous price, but that's, you know, pretty close to retail, and I definitely didn't want to pay $35 for it. So I'm kind of looking through all this stuff, and her dog runs out of the house, like into the garage, starts jumping around everywhere, and she's yelling at her dog, and her dog's name is Cooper. And I was like, oh, hey, you know, your dog's name is Cooper. I have a dog named Cooper, too. And she was like, oh, really? And she starts talking about her dog and rambling on. And eventually, I just kind of looked at the system, and I was like, all right, you know what? I honestly only have $20 on me. And she thought about it for a second, but then she was like, all right, you can have it for $20. It's not doing me any good. So all you got to do is talk to people about their dog, and you get a good deal on the PS2. So I'm going to have to apply that tactic more often, I think. Anyway, so I'm glad we stuck around for that sale. $20 for that was a pretty good deal, actually. And from there was another garage sale that was going on like right around the corner. And it was all like hunting and stuff, and it didn't look like we were going to find anything. But on a table, we found a couple PlayStation games in this weird retail packaging. But both of these games are actually still factory sealed, like, inside of this retail packaging. So we got Duke Nukem Time to Kill. It is Greatest Hits, unfortunately. Like I said, it still is factory sealed and then sealed again in this plastic stuff. And then for the PS2, we got the Legend of Excalibur, also factory sealed. And these were both marked for $5 a piece, and I honestly didn't even have to haggle with them because I picked them both up, and the guy turned to me and was like, "You can have them both for $5." So obviously I wasn't going to haggle that anymore. You know, $5 for 2 factory sealed games is pretty good. And I asked him if he had any more games, and he told me that he had like at his other house he had a Nintendo with a bunch of games and stuff. So I gave him my number. He told me he'd call me when he dug all the stuff out, but you know, I doubt he'll call me. That's usually how it goes. But so we left there and we went to a bunch more sales. I didn't find anything actually, and we ended up over by the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. So we stopped in there and actually had some luck there. Ironically enough, I found another black N64 controller, and it's also in pretty good shape. I mean, the joystick is slightly used, but it should work fine. So I got that, and then I got a Model 2 Genesis AC adapter for, well, this was 75 cents, and this was $3.34, but it was student discount day, so I got 20% off the total. It's just ironic that I found another black N64 controller 2 hours after I got the other one in the Craigslist steal. But so we grabbed that stuff, and that's actually all we got for Friday. Now, like I said, I was flying solo on Saturday morning because it was just me, 30 sales. I was going boom, boom, boom. And so at one of the earlier sales I stopped at, I walked up there, and I recognized the guy that was having the sale. I see him out garage selling every weekend. I've seen him buy video games before, actually. I've seen him pick up some crappy PS2 games from time to time. And I figured I'd probably see some of the games at his garage sale. And sure enough, I walk up there, and he had marked up all of the games that he bought at the garage sales throughout the year, you know, trying to make a profit on them. And I got to say good luck to him because he had some pretty crappy games for some pretty expensive prices. But I did manage to find a couple GameCube games, which were also oddly priced. Vex, which is complete here, and this was only marked for $1, so obviously I had no problem paying that. And then I found this one, ATV Quad Power Racing 2, which was marked for $3. Odd. I don't know why, but I asked them if I could get them both for $3, and they agreed to that. So $3 for 2 complete GameCube games that I didn't have, so I was happy with that. And so again, I hit up 5 or 6 more sales. I worked my way kind of over by where Dave lives. Like I said, he was busy though, and there was a sale by his house that was selling. It said PS2 games, and it said they had like some Wii stuff. So I stopped there, and they had like a Wii Fit board. They were asking like $80 for, like something completely outrageous. And then they had the whole Rock Band setup, which I think they wanted at least $60 or $70 for. They had some PS2 games as well, but they were like crappy sports games. They wanted like $7 a piece for them. I don't know where they got their prices from, but I did manage to find this for $2. We got Yoshi's Story for the N64. Completely random. It was only a cartridge game they had there, and I mean, it's not in the best shape. It's got a name written on it, and I think there's something rattling in it, but I'll be able to take it apart and clean it up and stuff. So for $2, hell yeah, I'll take that. And I asked if they had any more games or cartridge games, and they said no. So whatever, happy with that, I guess. And then I hit up a bunch more sales in that area. Didn't find anything, so I moved on. And I came up to this one sale, and I walked up. I saw a ton of video game stuff. They had like Band Hero, like the whole setup for that. They had the whole setup for Rock Band 2, and then they had some PlayStation 2 games. And again, just overpriced, crappy games. I mean, they weren't sports games. I'll give them that. Some of them were, but they were all like $7 a piece, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I was just about to leave, and I spotted an N64, and it had a couple controllers with it and a few games. It was in this like clear case thing. So I opened up the case, and I'm crossing my fingers, hoping for like a Mario Party or a Smash Bros or something. And the games were not that great. And then I saw the price on the whole thing. They were asking $40 or best offer. And honestly, even if I could have got it for $30, I probably wouldn't have done it just because, it honestly wasn't a good deal. So I did manage to find this, though. It's just some like McDonald's toy. It's like Luigi and Boo. And I don't know what it's supposed to do. I think you're supposed to have like a key or something to wind it up. This was 25 cents, which honestly was probably overpriced for this, but I walked up to pay for this. I gave him a quarter, and I just asked. I was like, have you had any offers on that N64 over there? And they told me that no one had made an offer on it yet. And I was like, oh, okay. I was just curious. And they were like, why? Would you want to make an offer? And I was like, I was going to say $20, and they were like, $20, hey? The lady looked at me and she's like, all right, sold. And I was like, really? Like $20? So I did end up getting the N64, actually, for half of what they were asking. And I'll show you guys what we got here. Like I said, it's nothing great, but we got system here. Just a gray system. No expansion pack, but it's in good condition, and a couple controllers which are like brand new, a blue one and a gray one, and then we got the adapters and stuff in here. And like I said, the games weren't great, but I'll show you guys what we got. Star Wars Rogue Squadron, not player's choice. Pokemon Stadium, another Pokemon Snap, and Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, which is player's choice. So for $20, I mean, yeah, I'll take it. And you know, like I said, it's in excellent condition. The lady told me she only played it like twice, and I honestly believe her. Everything's like essentially brand new. So that was a cool surprise. You know, I didn't think I was going to be walking away with that, but for $20, I'll take it. Anyway, at this point in the day, I was up at the towards the Goodwill, and I was kind of debating. I was like, you know, I was just at the Goodwill like yesterday with Dave, and we actually did find some stuff. But I was like, you know what are the chances that they're going to have more stuff? You know, I had a lot more sales to hit up. Do I want to go? But I decided I was going to stop in the Goodwill quick, and I'm really glad that I did, because I managed to find another N64. So not only had I just found an N64, but Dave and I, the day before at the Goodwill, had found a complete N64 system with a couple controllers and the adapters and stuff for $13. This one just has both adapters here, no controller, but it was only $9.99. And again, I don't think, yeah, no expansion pack, but I've got an extra controller to pair with this, and like I said, it has the power adapter and we got another one of these cheapo AV cords, $1.79 on eBay, free shipping from Hong Kong. You know what we're gonna have to do with this though, so insert clip here.
It's so bad.
Alright, so still though, you know, an N64 and the power adapter for $10 is still a pretty good deal, especially because I have a controller to pair with it. So I was happy I found that. But then I walked over to where they keep the games, and mixed in with all the CDs, I found Final Fantasy IX for the PS1, which for a thrift store is actually in surprisingly good condition. I mean, the case has one small crack on the back of it, but other than that, it's in excellent condition, and it's fully complete. I mean, it's all the discs are in there. It's got the manual and then this online strategy guide, and all the discs are like, you know, flawless condition. I was really surprised that this actually. At first, when I just saw Final Fantasy on the side, I was crossing my fingers that it was 7, because I still don't have 7, but you know, I'll take 9 anyway. And this was marked for $3.99. I don't know. Goodwill's kind of getting steep with their prices on these lately. These used to be $2.99. I don't know if they used to get them confused with the CDs and just marked them all for $2.99 or what. But still, you know, for $4, I'm not going to leave this there, obviously. So I was very happy that I stopped back up at the Goodwill, even though I had already found an N64 there the day before. They put another one out, and I grabbed that too. So anyway, that was actually all I found for the rest of the day, though. I did stop at like, you know, 10 or 12 more sales after this, but didn't find anything that I wanted to buy anyway. I mean, I saw video games. I saw some $7 PS1 sports games. Obviously not going to buy those, so I guess overpriced PlayStation games were kind of the story of the day. But anyway, it did end up being a pretty good weekend, mainly because of that Craigslist deal. I'm still really happy about that. So I want to thank you guys for sticking around and checking out the whole video, and until next time, take care.